Thank you, everyone. Good evening for joining us. Thank you, Mr. Deepo. Thank you so much for what you have been doing. And we thank you for this particular episode. I'm trying to see, okay, we're live on Instagram too now. That was what I was waiting for. That was the signal I was waiting for. Thank you so much, sir, for gracing. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining from all over the world. Appreciating every single one of you. How are you? And Mr. D, how's your day been?
Well, it's been a long one, but we're here. We're
Super,
here.
super, super awesome.
Long day, but thankfully, all is well that ends well.
Yes, 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 yes. Thank you so much. Today we're diving in deep immediately. We're going towards 26. What are the specific insights on team productivity that you think every business owner should look at on a global scale, first of all, before we go to at the level of Nigeria as a country?
So please take the question again.
Okay, we're going to 2026. What are the insights on teams and productivity that we need to drive as individuals? What are the insights on teams and productivity that we need to drive as individuals and as businesses going forward? On insights that will drive productivity that leaders need to know as we go into 2026.
Mm, Okay. Well, one will be that disruption is part of the game now.
Mm,
Disruption used to feel very few and far between, but it's
mm,
becoming it's becoming like breaking news now. It's happening ever so often. So
mm,
for to lead productive teams, it's very important for a leader to be mindful that disruptions are going to happen very often.
mm,
Comfortable with the thought of
mm,
disruption, and
mm,
that attitude then produces a certain degree of not wanting to settle too early or too soon.
mm, mm,
It's almost creates if I may use biblical terms, stirring of the water scenario where you're constantly trying to tweak, tinker, troubleshoot, even when it appears not to be broken. You're always inquisitive and checking to see what you can do better because disruption is just going to keep on showing up. I think
mm,
that would be my key insight looking into the future. That there will not be any comfort in convenience, meaning that this is how we've always done it, and we're not, we're not really going to look to any process improvement. So I think going forward, the productive team will always ask itself, what was our last best score? How can we improve on that significantly? And how can we
mm,
do it consistently every
mm,
day? How can we be better than the last output that we printed? Yeah,
mm,
that's my opening shot today.
mm. So what you're saying is a productive team will take lessons learned very, very seriously. I'm trying to put that down. That what was responsible for your success today and what will drive your success tomorrow. This is very, very important. All right. Thank you so much for that. What happens? What do you see in the first half of the year as the secrets and insights that teams need? You mentioned lessons learned. What other kind of insights, especially the first half of the year, do businesses need to take up as very strong points about productivity, especially to motivate the team.
Hmm. This is a very tough question, and I have to admit, it's a very tough question. But I'll attempt it. Being
Okay,
a
so
being a resilient.
I mean, there
Well,
are no. This is just for us to glean from your wisdom about what things you expect in the new year.
yeah, I mean, one definitely would be optimism. You know, there's a famous quote that I've seen, which I don't agree with. It says hope is not a strategy. I completely
Hmm.
disagree with that. With that, um, with those who don't agree with it, I think very strongly that hope is a strategy. Um, hope is hope is something that keeps you it keeps you expecting, and depending on your relationship with hope, it can produce very interesting results. So for 2026, optimism will always be important. I was watching a report, and I think this was recent about um, uh, the elections in New York, the mayor of New York, right? Mandami, and it was just talking about how he sort of rose up against the powers that be. You know, seemed like a very unlikely fellow to win that kind of election. And it just shows that really, even when the odds are stacked against any character, be it historical, political, social, whatever, there is always a possibility that the the most unlikely can happen. And that's how I'd look at any given year. That things can happen, and they can happen very quickly. So yeah, hope is it. I think people should be optimistic. I think teams should be open to new projects, collaborations, bends in the road, things they weren't expecting that will show up suddenly on the radar and might become urgent and important. Yeah, that would be my thought today.
The new year will present its challenges. It's certain that tomorrow's challenges will come, but the sun will always rise. Optimism is the first shot we need to fire. Thank you so much for that wisdom. I agree with you. The other thing is that hope is it keeps everybody up and alive. All right. I mean, it won't be a long session this evening. Just two more questions from me. Um, for teams that are non-performing or they didn't meet their targets last year, what should they do differently in the new year for them to actually go to the next level of what they are doing?
That's a very good question. And it would be to those teams have to be honest with themselves. What went wrong? Do an audit. Sit down, have an honest and a very honest conversation to look at the external factors, look at the internal factors, consider members of the team, look at the leadership of the team, look at the operating environment. I mean, there are really many things to factor in when we look at a team's performance. And if that team takes time to retreat and ask themselves very honest questions without trying to make themselves feel good, they will come up with something. And even in doing that, there might be blood, meaning that someone's there might be redundancies. You will have to have that firm handshake with someone and say, look, you're not pulling your weight, you need to leave the team. There might have to be reassignments. There will have to be a reinforcement for people who are top performers. Really, because that's the that dynamism that comes with working with a team.
mm,
It's not a kumbaya situation. We don't all hold hands and everybody wins. No, there is a place where the team wins, but there's always a place where you have to identify what the growth areas are, identify where the bottlenecks are, identify if there are even saboteurs in a group. We may not like to talk about it. It's extremely important. Identify weak links in a group. We have to be able to have these conversations. Some people who are on that group in 2025 may not be on board in 2026. It's just a conversation we have to have. And as ruthless as it sounds, it's the only way that teams grow. So yeah,
mm.
not may not be a popular position, but that's how it goes.
How do you see AI panning out? AI and all the energy around AI technology transformations. How do you see that panning out?
I think there'll be more applications that will give more direction to how AI will play out in specific areas. So right now, there's 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 like an AI for everything, right? Which is interesting. I mean, these days I read articles, press releases, and I'm like, this thing is AI written. Like it's all over it. The person didn't even take time to edit anything. They just put a prompt, harvested it, published it. So but I think that there will now be a bit more specialization in 2026 going forward. I think what we're seeing right now is just a mad rush for everyone to sort of express AI in the best way that they think can work. It's almost like the internet in the in the late 90s, right? And how by 2005, 2006, we then started having the emergence of those who we can call the big tech companies today. So Google, Meta, right? So Alphabet is Google. So what we're in right now is some kind of sandbox where everyone is trying something new with AI. And it's good, it's necessary. It's necessary for product development, necessary for testing, necessary for sort of sampling what people really want. But I think that there probably will be some kind of filtering, and we'll start to see like real AI products or services that will then emerge, that will then become mainstream. Because I've sort of seen that that's how it works in almost every industry. With every new technology, there's the gold rush, and then things start to stabilize when you begin to see the major players. So that's likely to happen. It may not be in 2026, but it's good to start watching out for those companies that will eventually become the leading lights. And I'd also like to say that as we are users of AI technology, we should also not forget the investing side. Make sure that one watches I mean, follow the news, follow the stock market, look at companies that are showing some promise. If you have if you have cash, put money in five or six or seven. They may not all succeed, but perhaps there might be one that will make up for the ones that don't. So yeah, that's I think is a really exciting future. It's an exciting future. Um, I love what AI can do, even at its very elementary level. Not to speak about how much more advanced it can become when we start to look at localized. I was at an event today talking about insurance, and some of the guys who came to present were just talking about predictive insurance. So based on your activities, this insurtech company can or solution can say that you drive 40 kilometers every day. Um, and because of that back and forth, there might be risk on your health. So you may want to have, do you have a HMO? And if you don't, here are options that you can buy for 2,000 naira, 1,500, 500 naira based on your income level. And that's just deploying big data into some AI model that can just help you help a lot of people take decisions, or rather recommend decisions based on patterns that they might not even be aware that they are exhibiting. And really that's very interesting because it shows that people are thinking, people are looking at difficult areas and asking, how can we solve this problem in a way that is intuitive, not somebody forcing it down your throat. For example, last week I had a cold, right? And when I was trying to get it treated, they were asking me when was the last time you treated malaria. I couldn't remember, honestly. But there's a solution for that. Someone can tell you that, look, maybe every 2 years, about this time, you have, this kind of reoccurrence. If you are prepped ahead of time, and those are things that AI really can do because it has all the data. It can work in a way that prevents you from actually breaking down. Maybe when that period is coming, you know that you need to slow down a bit, you need to boost your immune system. And this is not a doctor that is telling you, this is just based on the volume of data that's available about you. It's trying to make you live a healthier life. So it's very interesting days ahead, and I'm excited.
Thank you so much for that. Paying attention to AI, automation, direction of investment. All right, those are all my own questions. Do you have any parting shots for our people? What people should look out for, the insight in productivity and specialty in leadership? Any parting shots for the new year? You're spot on about AI and automation and especially direction of investment. Yeah. Any other parting shots?
Well, I think it'll be good to also look at 2025 and ask what are some of the key learnings this year. What are some of the key things that we observed this year? How has the world changed in 2025? And how is the world perhaps still the same? Are there things to are there things to learn from? Are there events that have shaped the year that if they happen again in 2026, we'll be either better prepared for, or will they catch us off guard again? Those really will be for me. There are things that happen in a year that you might think, oh, come on, this can never happen again. But then what if it happens again? What if it happens again? What are we going to do? God forbid if there's another pandemic in 2026. How will the world take it? What's different? Or let me use another lockdown in 2026, right? For another reason that might be completely detached from COVID, right? What are the things that we're going to learn from that, or that we're going to learn from our previous experience that we're going to bring into this new thing? In the space of geopolitics, how's the world changing in how, especially American politics, is sort of shaping attitudes towards particular issues? Um, how is that going to change our attitudes to, are we going to live in fear, a constant fear that things will go bad, or are we going to be optimistic, or will it be a blend of both? Those will just be summations about looking into the future, but also looking back to say, how did we fare this year? And perhaps it might be necessary to do some kind of year in review to say, hey, 2025, how did the year go? 2026, what are we looking out for? What are opportunities that were missed that next year we should be better prepared for, right? So that we don't lose. I mean, you and I are an opportunity that was capitalized on. We had spoken to each other, but only met this year, and just one meeting has produced a
This
series.
series.
Yeah, and really, that's how life is. Sometimes you have the opportunity to contact, but no ignition happens because there's just, oh yeah, yeah, I met this person at this event, and that's all. And I really appreciate you for going the distance to create this spark. And so yeah, it's really back to everyone to say, yeah, the year is winding to a close. What are you going to take away from 2025? What were some opportunities that you had this year that you took full advantage of? Were there others that you missed? Can you still pick up on them and get stuff happening? Today is just the 12th of November. There's still a lot of days left before the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So that'll be it for me. That'll be it for me, Joe.
Right, right. Thank you so much for the super work that you're doing. And thank you. I mean, we made this happen. I look forward to the last episode, which will be next week based on your schedule. Thank you for bringing life and light to the conversation. And I'm excited at what the new year looks like for many organizations. And thank you for giving all those insights. I know that the best will happen. We'll prepare for the different scenarios, but we cannot afford not to go with hope. Thank you for that. And have a good evening. To our viewers, thank you everyone. You can just send the chat where you are chatting from, where you're watching from, or you can drop your comments. We're available on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, and on X. I see people on Instagram. There's a lot of people on Instagram who shouted out to me, Vicky Shuri, and a couple of other people, appreciating every single one of you. Thank you so much, sir. And we end the stream here. Thank you, and till we come your way again next week. Thank you, everyone.